Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. 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 Parrot TV.
The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity. Hello, welcome to World Inkers Network. I'm glad to see people up and moving today. I'm Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host, and today we have Scharwath and Suchismita Ghoshal. Today they're talking their ongoing collaborations, and we have just released a book from Carl called Ebb Tide Reflections, and we'll discuss that a little bit. I'd like to welcome these guys to the show. Thanks for being on today. How are you guys this morning, or this evening in the case of Suchismita?
We are doing great.
So it's an amazing evening from India. I'm greeting all my audience and also Dustin and Carl. A very good evening from India. I hope you all are doing good, as I am doing good and having my time here with my family. And it's a long time that I have been away from family, and it's been amazing where I just spent 3 months here in my town. So it's been a very good time. And also autumn is now it's autumn, and now we are having also our festival season.
Excellent. Sounds like a blast. You guys are out there partying and whatnot. That's wonderful. So tell us a little bit about how you guys came together to collaborate, and what this collaboration is and what it means, and when do you plan to have this ready for the typical reader to take a look at?
Okay, I'll take that. Suchismita. Okay. Well, anyway, who's that guy behind you without the shirt, Suchismita?
It's all fine.
we started. Actually, Suchismita started. As you know, I put a lot of my paintings or art photography or paintography on Facebook, and I have international writers who want to write to my art, and to me, that's the greatest thing that can happen to a photographer, that someone would want to write for their art. So Suchismita started sending me her poems, and I thought they were not only excellent, but I thought we should maybe think about doing a chapbook together, or we maybe have it half done and send it out for publication. I do have one work between us, which is being published by Set2 magazine. I believe they're in India as well, in maybe another month, with 3 poems and 3 of my artwork. So it's inspiring that someone would want to do that for my work, and her poetry is really great. So I'm happy she's been writing for my work.
It's wonderful. It's really nice to collaborate. I mean, I'll ask both of you, what is the joy of collaborating with another person poetically or artistically? How do what's the purpose for you to we can always do our own work. So what's the joy of working with another person? How does that work for you?
It's simply amazing because Carl has some great experience in paintography. Like, he has done a lot of wonderful work, and one day he surprised me with a paintography of my photo, and I was so overjoyed with that. And then I just requested him to send more, and he told me that he's also an athlete. He is also a writer, poet, literary person, and then he is also working as a photographer, paintographer. So he's a multifaceted person, and he sent me a few of his pentography arts, and then I was very inspired with them. So I thought that they are worth writing. I should write something on those photos, maybe some memoirs or maybe some poems. And it was wonderful experience to get inspired by another artist who is doing the same work like me, like uh, doing wonders in a literary field and then doing wonders in photography field. So it was simply so relaxing, and also I felt uh, very overjoyed with the thought that I'm getting to collaborate with someone who is in alignment with the art and aesthetic field. So it was simply a bliss for me.
I would say they're fun. The most important thing is you get to meet people from around the world. You build international friendships. And to me, that is beyond the art. That's the real reason I love doing collaborations. The internet, I mean, I'm an older guy. Having the internet, having Facebook, it's just amazing that you can meet, talk to other writers around the world. And I would say I love India. They've been so kind to me. They publish so much of my work. I have so many friends in India. I got to get over there someday.
Yes, we
And
are all aware of that.
maybe move
Through
in with
your
Suchismita for a couple months, and she can feed me and show me around. I'll see how
It
long
seems
that
like
friendship
both of
lasts.
you are so connected with India. I mean, Dustin has a lot of friends from India, and you also
Yep.
have a lot of artistic and literary friends from India. So they always cheer you and they always share things with you. I have seen so many tags of people creating arts and tagging you to have your feedback with their profile, and also you people do share with us. So it's an amazing feeling that we are getting to collaborate with, and we are creating a multicultural community because we are sharing, and we are
Right.
always in connection with our own arts and own feeling sentiments. So it's truly a bliss. Because internet has given us this opportunity to collaborate with so many people sitting back at our home. It was not possible if we would just only roam around, and then it would not that be that possible that we would cover so many people all together. So
Right.
it's a blessings from communication and broadcasting field. So it's amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
Dustin and I are going to make a trip to come to India, so that's on our bucket list, right, Dustin?
Absolutely.
And I just want to say
Yeah.
also, I love India because they love literature and the arts. I wish America was like India. I mean, you guys are voracious readers. You're great with your culture, and you seem to have a culture of writers and artists, which America used to have. So that's another reason I love India.
Yeah, I've noticed that too myself. It seems like, not only is the culture different from here, it's like people have become kind of shallow writers here in the United States to a degree. I'm not seeing a lot of like people really digging into the depths of poetry and the history of poetry to really draw their inspiration from. Whereas in India, I see a lot of people that were really fascinated by the romantics and a lot of the the older stuff and the modernist and so forth. Pretty much everyone in India I talk to has a good set of influences behind them, and a lot of American poets are like, I don't want to do that. I got to find my own voice or whatever, and it's just really just kind of like emblematic of our narcissistic culture to a certain degree. It really kind of bothers me because it's hard to find people that really enjoy literature, as literature instead of like just the blind expression that they write something on a paper and they think they're suddenly a poet, But I think it's good that that there's still people in the world that really focus on the traditions and embracing that tradition and furthering it rather than trying to stifle it or destroy it is happening in a lot of places in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Yes,
so
exactly.
yeah, it's just really like a really kind of a difficult world we're living in right now. There's so much so much creative capacity, but we're practicing so much destruction. I mean, all this ongoing conflict everywhere and everything, and people are frustrated. I think after COVID, and still kind of getting nihilistic about it. Yeah.
Well, that's why collaborations are good. You can build
Absolutely.
friendships, you can learn about cultures, and you work together, and that's the best part.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Ebb Tide Reflections, how that sort of kind of came to be?
Okay, this book is Ebb Tide Reflections. It is out on Amazon. That's my photo, of course, on the cover of the ocean. It's a beautiful spot near where I live. I wasn't going to write any more books. I prefer to just...
And congratulations, Carl, for your new book.
No, thank you so much.
I would be very happy to read both of your books, as
Thank you.
I have already communicated with Dustin about his book, which was published by one Indian publishing firm. And now you are also publishing one of your books. So it's like you all are so high in art now and creation.
Enjoyable.
Well, with this book, it was, I wasn't going to write any more books. I prefer doing collaborations. I prefer just getting published in journals. So a professor from a college contacted me on Facebook, Grandview University in Iowa. And he said, would you be interested in working with my literary class, having a book done by you? We will put it together for you. We will edit it. We will proofread it and present it back to you. They weren't going to publish it, but they did all the work to put the book together for a class project. So, of course, I said, yes, I would love to do that. So her name was Carly, one student, and I sent her all my files of writing, photography to her and art. And it took her a couple months, but she put together a book and sent it back to me. So again, it's not a published book. It was just on a PDF file and a Word file as well. So I went to Dustin, as I know we've worked together and interviewed before, and just asked if they would be interested in maybe publishing it. It was ready to go. Other than the PDF, I know was a little kind of funky the way it was formatted. So I wanted to do the book to honor the college that took the time to have me in their class to do this for me. So yes, the book is out. Like my previous book, it's not just poetry. I do poetry, photography, and short stories, which I love all of those. And going forward, I said no more books, but I am starting to write a lot of personal essays that I really enjoy writing. They're kind of easier to write than a short story because it's something in your life you just want to tell a story about. And that could be a potential future book, or our book as a collaboration, Suchismita. So I'm not totally done with books, but I think I'm done with poetry and short story books for now. But thank you, Dustin, for publishing it. I really enjoy it. And I thank the college, Grandview University out of Iowa, for taking the time to work with me on it.
So what is your projects lately, Suchismita? It's been a pretty good while since we've had you on the program. So are you working on anything else new that you want to discuss?
I'm simply just exploring right now. I mean, I have been writing a few of open letters. I'm thinking to do something little different this time, because I have done poetry books and also participated in many of the anthologies which we have already been in together also. So I am working on a open letter book, and then also working on a project which is simply my personal project. It may take time, like an year or so. It is a mixture of poetry and prose, basically. So it's not only about poetry, and it's a poetry and prose book. So let's see what happens. I'm just preparing them whenever I get time, because I always believe that art comes, or creation comes when our mind is somewhat in that mode, in creation mode, or in relaxing mode, when thoughts are coming and we are really inspired to create some art. Maybe we are disturbed, or maybe we are at peace. Both can happen, but art should come relaxingly. It should not be in a hurry. So I have just learned that, because the last 2-3 years I have just tried to do or somewhat I was very impulsive to create art only. I'm like, let's do poetry, write poetry everyday basis. So I have just left that mania, I should say, and now I am only focusing on let it come to me, and then I will just
Hmm.
relaxingly create something good. So
Do you
these are
find
the
that's
two
more
books, the two
efficient?
projects.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm working.
So you find that just letting the art flow into you and you put it out, you find that more
Yeah.
easier than possibly than just like trying to do it habitually, kind of go to it when there's a routine. And a lot of writers do have routines, and a lot of artists have routines. But I'm the same way. It's like if I can't do it, I just can't do it. It's not going to come if it's not going to come naturally to me. It won't actually be something that I can be proud of. I mean, I do try to write a little bit every day if I can, but some days it's just not there. It just doesn't I don't have the
Yes.
spirit with me. Yeah.
Yes. Some days we are just totally empty. We don't have anything coming up in our mind. So we
Hmm.
should let that day be in rest. We should not force ourselves. It does not necessarily be every day we need to be creative or something like that. Maybe we can
Right.
just read some of our old works. We can edit them and we can
Hmm.
make some changes in them that
Hmm.
it's looking better now. It's now perfect or something. It should be changed. So we can focus on that also.
So, Carl, what is your creative process like? Do you get up in the morning and go out and do photographs and put them together in the evening, or how do you go about it?
Okay, my inspiration and what Suchismita said and what you said is true. I never force myself.
Hmm.
With writing, it has to come to you. And with me, being a runner, I run 3 or 4 times a week. A lot of times out on a run, I get ideas. I get
Hmm.
home and then I say, what the heck was that good first line? Or what was that thing I was thinking about again? And I also, when I'm out and about for photography, I see things and I'll sometimes stop. I love abandoned buildings, different landscapes. So I always have either a camera, but I mostly carry my cell phone with me because that's more convenient. So with photography, it just kind of happens as I'm
Hmm.
walking about. So I don't know the person who said the quote, but the quote is art is everywhere.
Oh.
So all we have to do is open our mind. I mean, it might be an abandoned building to you, but to me, it's a story. And that's why I like abandoned buildings. I've written many poems with my abandoned buildings, just thinking about the history, who lived there, what happened to them, why is the house falling apart or the building falling apart. To me, that's amazing. And I wish we could step away from America. I mean, India, countries like that, where they have such a deep history. I mean, I'd be lost in those antique buildings and just
Mm.
running around. It's
Right.
amazing. So, really, the inspiration comes to me either out and about or running or in the quiet moments. And the main thing is also reading. A
Hmm.
lot of people who are writers don't read.
Yeah, I've
And I'm
noticed
not
that.
saying to plagiarize somebody, but you do get some ideas
Hmm.
just from reading from different styles and things like that. So if you're a writer, you have to read. And I read 1 hour every day. My secret is I know it's weird, but I'm a guy who likes to take a bath. To me, that's a sanctuary. 1 hour a day, I'm in the bath at night. I bring a book in with me, and that's an hour of reading every day right there. It's relaxing. Sometimes I do fall asleep and drop the book in the water, and I've ruined quite a few books that way. But no, that is my place, and it forces me that 1 hour to read, and then I also read in the morning a little bit before breakfast. But I'm always reading. I like books, magazines, online, and that's an inspiration as well because it just teaches you. Learn different
True.
things in the world, and that helps you with your writing as well.
That's very true, and I think it's fascinating that everyone has a different
Also,
place.
I would like to
Go ahead.
add a point here. Like
Mhm.
Carl has said that he reads different books and magazines online. So yes, it helps. And also, I have started doing journaling recently.
Mhm.
Like regularly, I am adding some points to my register. So it also helps me have some thoughts or have some creative ideas about my writing too. Although it does not have to belong to my writing field, but I just do register something like which I feel good about my day, which I'm doing. And I sometimes get some ideas from that too. So it's quite good. I find it
And
interesting sometimes.
and also a sidebar with reading, I always have a pencil with me. So if I see a word I don't know, I circle it, look it up, and I keep a track of some of these words, so not only to learn it, but a lot of times they're good titles for photography or art. So
very interesting.
English is obviously a big language, but sometimes words can inspire you as well. Just a word.
We're going to take a brief break, and we'll be right back in just by less than a minute. We'll watch this wonderful commercial.
Thank you.
Undoubtedly, Africa is the best tourism destination on Earth. The continent is blessed with the most conducive atmosphere. To feel and enjoy these blessings, join the most productive one-week tour of the continent organized by Daylight Africa every September 2nd to September 9th to see beyond the fallacies about Africa on the mainstream media. Contact us at daylightafrica@gmail.com or call 718-822-5555. Daylight Africa. Revolutionizing tourism industries in Africa.
And we're back with World Inkers Network. We're talking with Carl and Suchismita about their poetry and their art and collaboration. So tell us a little bit more about the process. I mean, how do you ever go through and write something that or create something that just doesn't work for you, and you just discard it, or you wait and see what happens? I mean, what do you do with work that's really not up to your standards? Sometimes that happens to me. I find things that I write that I don't really care for. So what is your process like of sort of trying to refurbish your own art sometimes, or bring it back to life? Carl?
Okay, I didn't want to step over anybody.
Right.
For me, as far as poetry goes, I find poetry easy. I think, once I have a thought in my head, I can let the flow go. I've never not stopped a poem midway. I mean, I do go back in editing, but when I say poetry is easy, I'll look conversely at writing short stories, and they are very difficult. Short stories, the hardest part is not writing them. It's what do I write about? What's the story? What's the ending? What's the beginning? What's the plot? That's the hardest part. Once I get that, though, I can write it. But then with short stories, I feel like I'm always going back to edit. It seems like it's never done. Changing words, changing conversation. Short stories, there's two ways to write them: no conversation or conversation. I find that not having a conversation a little bit easier, just writing a short story, telling the story. But then when you add dialect into it, that is very difficult to do. So poetry, again, I do edit, and most of my poems do tend to be short. I don't write long poetry. So my thoughts are there. But there are a couple times when I can't finish a poem, but I'll save words. I'll save verses. And a lot of my poems, I may have started one way, and then I'll save a verse and go back to it and write a totally different poem, but use the same 1, 2, or 3 verses in that poem. So again, they're both difficult, but since poetry is shorter for me, I find it a little easier. And then also with personal essays, I find that's fun to write. I've been doing a lot in my life, like in the past. Like I wrote an essay about just going to the drive-in movies, which was a great memory for me. I don't know if they had drive-in movies in India. They probably did not, but that was a great American icon, going to a drive-in movie as a teenager. So I just wrote about that, and that was recently published in a magazine called Boomer Magazine. I wrote a short story just about going to the laundromat when I was a kid. All you had to go through to go to a laundromat. And then recently, this is a good example of how a story jumps out at you. So my stepfather did pass away, but when I visited him in the nursing home, when I was walking down the hallway, an elderly lady was in a wheelchair in the hallway, and she actually reached out and grabbed my hand while I was walking by and said, "Are you my son?" So it kind of caught me off guard. I did say, yes, I'm here to see you, but I have to see somebody else first. I talked to her for a minute and left. That was 4 years ago. So just recently, I wrote an essay called The Visit about seeing this poor lady. You know, probably her son never visited her, if she even had a son. So I revisited that, wrote an essay, and did a different ending where, yes, I did not stop to talk to her initially. And then I did want to go down a different hallway when I left to kind of not have to lie to her. But the hallway was blocked by a cart. This is my story. And then I went back and I did spend time. I did say, I'm your son. We talked for a long time and she was happy. And then the ending was I went back the next day and was asking about her, and they said she passed away. However, all she kept talking about was that her son came to see her. So that story, again, 4 years later, popped in my brain. And I said, damn, that's a good thing to tell. So
what is about you, Suchismita? How does your creative process unfold when you get stuck on something or don't feel like it's the best you could do, or ideally what you would rather something else? I mean, how do you kind of refurbish your own work sometimes, or does it just happen for you naturally?
So what I have till now experienced, that there were many times when I was stuck. I could not finish some work, and which I have started. And recently, I just finished up one story which I started writing in 2020. It was a short story, and I did not find the inspiration to complete it, and I was very lagging behind. And then I just switched to many poetries. Yes, poetries are a little easy because we are so much into writing poetries right now. I mean, I won't say it's easy because there are many forms. If we just try different forms, we will find it difficult to make ourselves, convenient with the way or with the form, with the structurization and other things. So, but then comes short stories when you have to have your own, as Carl said, that plot, structurization, conversations, everything cleared on your head. You should have in my sense, you should have a chart with that you were writing a short story. What points will come after what points? I mean, what incidents will come after what incidents? So you should have a clear idea of that. But I was not having that idea that how I should uh, uh, direct the story where it can look better or it can have a good meaning out of that. So I just recently uh, merged it with one of my experiences, and I just finished it then. So yes, sometimes we face challenges while writing because literature is not something which is very limited. It's very expansive. We have so many different events in our life which also affects our writing, because if we just look very deeply into it, we can analyze that writing has a deep connection with our psyche, because sometimes we do not feel like writing, sometimes we do not have the good mood or writing the same thing. We just forget the piece of writing we started the 2 days back or just was going through that. So uh, I would say that I won't say that I don't face challenge, and sometimes I feel like I am lacking my motivation to write. Am I a good writer enough? These questions arise, and then I just sit back and just notice. And this has been a very good habit of me. I would say you that, because since a few months, I have been spending 10 minutes of my time into observing things, simply observing things. No thoughts around, just observing my surroundings and having what comes. So it has also immensely helped me overcome my difficult situation, as well as increased or heightened the level of my imagination. So this also I have applied while recycling my works or just starting my incomplete work. So that's how I am coping up right now.
Yeah, I think it's important to observe as a writer. You don't just,
Mm.
pull everything out of your mind. I mean, a lot of it's actual material reality that we live in.
We
Yeah.
need to silence our brain sometimes, because
Right.
our mind is a monkey mind, and we
Hmm.
have like this thought, that thought, this thought, that thought. It just gets too much clumsy and too much, catastrophic. So we need to sometimes silence our thoughts, and I'm just practicing this little bit of mindfulness since a very few months, and it has helped me a lot
Wonderful.
to
Anything
have
that
my
can
own
help clear your mind
imagination,
out.
good imagination.
Right.
Yeah,
Get
yeah,
your actual creative mind flowing, just to silence those chattering thoughts and those negative thoughts that kind of
yes,
imperil our being
exactly.
sometimes. Yeah, that's a good method, mindfulness and meditation, and just enjoy, just letting things come to you, just float into you is very positive. I want to tell our viewers today that
Makes
we
things
have.
harmonious. I mean, if you feel like cluttered and you don't have anything very good ideas or feeling demotivated, it will help you in a long term. You would
Absolutely.
understand that you are capable of handling your situations as well as your creative ideas and creative projects also. So it gives a lot of motivation. So I have found it very amazing. Like I said, that I started back in 2020 when it was the period of COVID. COVID
Hmm.
just started, and it
Hmm.
was creating a very bad situation, a pandemonium worldwide. So I started back then, and then I just lost track
Hmm.
after a few days. Then I did some parts in 2021, again some pauses. Then 2022, I had many events on my life in 2022. So I was so cluttered at that point of time. And then 2023, when I started doing all this meditation and just take accountability of my life, that I have to do good. I have to take that sportsmanship ability in myself. Then I found that meditation is helping me, also
Hmm.
mindfulness, or also simply silencing my thoughts and just sitting and just
Hmm.
noticing what's happening around me has helped
Right.
me a lot.
Hmm.
And then I completed the story. It just happened.
Huh. That's a very interesting process. It's a little different than
Yes,
a
and
lot of people.
sometimes I just have communication with Carl, and I have told him that you are a great person because you run.
Yes, it's a
In
meditation of
weekends,
sorts.
you take races, so it
Mhm.
helps you a lot, building
Mhm.
your confidence, building your enthusiasm. And what's not, it positively helps you to detoxify your body, and also
Mhm.
whatever you have stuffed. It's a good procedure of decluttering. So I have sometimes appreciated him. And also
No,
I have had a few
thank you.
words with you, Dustin, about meditations and other things.
Mhm.
So I would tell that this has helped me a little in my creative writing procedures, because I don't force anything, and also I just let it happen, and it happens now. I have to just a little bit observant in my life.
And Cole, you said earlier that sometimes you're going out for a run, you run into things to photograph, and you have ideas and stuff. I mean, do you think that the running itself helps inspire those ideas, or do you think that they just come when they come?
Yes, and I am a runner, but I also just started playing pickleball, so now I have a new athletic avenue that I'm also doing. I don't know if they have pickleball in India, but it's the fastest growing sport, and I love playing it. I put together a group in my development. We have 120 people in our group. We play about 20 to 30 people 2 days a week. Just another avenue. I believe physical fitness helps you. I mean, running opened doors for me. Wasn't a writer until I started running. Late in life, something happened out on a run that inspired me to write a poem and a short story. So, as Suchismita said, meditation. So, I meditate when I run. I don't carry a phone. I don't listen to music. I either think about my day or think about some story or poem, or I just totally shut out and just listen to my breath. So running to me is meditation. Some people say, well, that's crazy. Running's hard. And again, just being out there in nature and breathing fresh air and just running around is a great motivation. And I just wanted to say something to new writers that might be out there. Writing poetry, I know we all do poetry and then we maybe go on to other things, but poetry is the best basic to be a good writer. It just makes you formulate words, verses. A lot of famous writers that you don't even realize were poets first were, like F. Scott Fitzgerald, Hemingway. I mean, whoever thought Hemingway was a poet first? But most, if you look up the great writers, they all started in poetry, almost 90%. So poetry is the base. If nothing else, it could be a stepping stone to short stories, a novel. That's something I could never write. Anybody can write a novel. I'm totally impressed with that. But to me, that's beyond my capabilities to write 200 pages.
Don't think like that. That is beyond my capability, because you can do something like that. Like you have a plot and you can go by chapter. You don't have to pressurize. One day you will end up doing that.
No,
your novel.
Just, my thing is, who's going to read my writing for that long? 200
right.
pages. But and I'm the kind of person, I like everything short. I write short poems. My short
you
stories.
love to run. You just don't have to stuck in one situation.
But when I write, I like short poems. When my short stories, I keep them under 2,000 words. When I go to a movie, I say to my wife, why do we have to watch a 2.5-hour movie? Why can't they do that in 90 minutes? And it's not because our world is so fast. I like being concise, to the point. So that's why novels to me are out of my realm. But if I did write a novel, it would probably be a novelette or novella, which would be 100 pages or less. So that could be a possibility. But again, the hardest part is that thought. What am I going to write about? What's a good storyline?
Right.
So that's the process. But yeah, running is meditation to me, and as well as exercising.
So tomorrow we have a guest, Rajoshi Patronibus from India. So I want to tell our viewers that are watching right now that to tune in tomorrow, Sunday, for that, and definitely get a view and some insight into some interesting forms of poetry. He's a groundbreaking poet. He's published by Hawakal Publishers out of India. We're going to talk about his book. So, in the conclude,
I had a question to Dustin. I mean, what are you thinking about having a novel of yours or something like that moving forward?
Novels, but I haven't done a full-fledged novel quite yet. I want to do one. I'm working. I started one maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and I put it on the back burner. Yeah, it should hopefully. I mean, I'm trying to get an NEA grant for the novel. I mean, I think I might have to travel a little bit to kind of get an idea. Part of it's based in Ireland, and I wanted to travel to Ireland and just kind of see the life, and get an idea of the social life and political and all that, to kind of get an idea of this, what I should be doing with this work, It should be, hopefully I'll get that one written finish it up pretty soon. I've got about halfway through it.
Don't let him fool you. He's going to Ireland for the beer.
Well,
if you have some beer, that might be the stories right there. Bars are the best place.
So we have about 2 minutes. Would either of you like to say anything in conclusion to the writers out there, to share any shout outs or thank yous to anybody that you would like to appreciate on the program? Go ahead.
I would like to show my thankfulness and gratitude to all our audience, also to Carl for bringing me in this show, and also to Dustin for having us so warmly welcomed on your show, being a wonderful host and asking us so many good questions regarding literature, our thoughts, our daily routines to motivate us to do work. So this has been an amazing discussion regarding our life and our creations. So yes.
Glad to have you on the program. It's been kind of a while since we've had you on, but it's good, always good to have you on. So, Carl, would you like to say any concluding words, advice to writers, shout outs?
Yes, I would just like to thank both of you. I consider you both friends, and I really appreciate both of you in my life. And I always wish you the best in your lives as far as your health and writing or art or wherever life takes you. Let's always stay in touch. Let's always work together. Thank you, Dustin and World Inkers, for publishing my book. I really appreciate that.
Namaste.
And yeah, and for everybody out there, build friendships. A lot of people aren't on Facebook. To me, Facebook is gold. I wouldn't be where I was today if it wasn't for Facebook. I've built so many friendships, meet so many editors, so many people ask me for my work, which would never have happened. So reach out, make friends, learn cultures. That's the beauty of Facebook and reaching out and meeting other authors and writers and artists. So thank both of you, and I always wish you the best, and God bless you both.
Well, thank you very much, Carl and Suchismita, for being on the program. And I want to bring up our donation banner here. If you want to donate, there's paypal.me/nyparrot for anybody out there who has a little extra cash, or a lot of extra cash in some cases. Throw it our way as much as you can possibly do. And it's wonderful for our programming and for our business to run. And if you want to be on the program, you can write to me, Dustin Pickering, at publication.worldinkers@gmail.com. That's also a good place to send your poetry or your short fiction or any essays, anything you want me to possibly consider for the World Inkers website. And that's at worldinkers.com. If you want to take a look at that. And it's wonderful to have you guys on the program. And thank you so much for joining us. And I hope everybody out there is getting their pens ready, starting to scribble and write.
Thank you to all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, both of you. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
And this concludes our program today. Everybody out there, have a nice day. Join us tomorrow for Rajorshi, and we'll see you then.
Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the Parrot. Parrot TV.